Hey guys, what's up? This is Murder of Birds, and this is going to be my anime review for RWBY Volume 2, Episode 1, which is a return after a year-long wait from Volume 1. And I gotta say, this was the most creative, the most action-packed, funniest episode, and one of the greatest ways to start off the season, the volume. And honestly, the episode was titled Best Day Ever, and I honestly have to say that this episode made my day. Like, this is what I was looking forward to all day today. This is the day we've been waiting for, and I'm so happy to finally be reunited with RWBY, the great characters. We get back into the story, the world of Remnant, and everything that it pertains to. And already at a first glance, we can tell that the anime is definitely looking a lot better in terms of animation, in terms of, improvements and things that we can see from a first eye, and then things that we look into a little bit more deeply. But before I get into the actual anime, in terms of what happened this episode, I want to talk a little bit about the animation. First off, I think that the animation looks a lot better from Volume 1 looks a lot better from Volume 1, with the details of the characters, the fact that there are no more shaders, as I like to call them, the black background characters, the black background, people who just filled in the gaps of an empty town. The city of Vale and the anime as a whole seems a lot more alive, a lot more vibrant now that we have these filler characters who just place a spot to fill in the gaps. So, you don't just assume that whoever's colored in is, significant to the story, and then everybody else is unnecessary for the story. So I definitely like how the anime makes the lack of shaders and the fact that everyone is colored in. And you got these fodder characters who are pretty much filling the gaps. These characters bring the anime a lot more life, a lot more vibrancy. So I really like that. The scores, the music as the anime was going from the peaceful moments to the action moments, which I will definitely get into that food fight. That food fight was so awesome. Just everything about this anime, the lighting, like I said, the animation, the detail to character of the character designs. I feel like the costume, the attire of the characters are a lot more detailed. And one thing that I also noticed was, as Sun and Neptune were walking, the fact that their hair bounced with their motion. So when they walked, their hair actually moved, which I don't think that was very expressive in Volume 1. The animation was very stiff. And I feel like this animation gives a lot more flexibility to the characters, makes them more lifelike, and I definitely really enjoy that. But anyways, the episode itself, so much information, so many questions, so much expectations, so much hype, everything. So first off, we start, and we get a very dark introduction, a somewhat light tone, somewhat, light-hearted moments, and then it turns very dark. We are introduced to the two newbies of the anime, Mercury and Emerald, which are Cinderfall's accomplices that we got a little sneak peek of at the very end of Volume 1. And I like these characters, especially Emerald. I like her a lot more than Mercury. Not to say that I don't like Mercury, but Emerald, to me, I feel like I really like her character model, her character design. I love how the way she looks animated. Her voice matches her personality of her character very well. And I don't know, I just really have this very likable, attachment to her already from this first episode of how she interacts with Mercury, of, telling him, hey, I'll give you money if you leave me alone. And I just like the interaction between these two. They kind of remind me like of a brother-sister relationship. I don't really know if there's anything more to them than that. But we find out that Emerald, is a master thief, and she expresses her cunning and her thievery very well. We get the very first scene where she helps that guy out from the episode 1, actually, when his dust shop gets robbed by Tortrick, and then RWBY goes in to help him. She ends up robbing him for his wallet, and she's so cunning and she's so swift with it that we don't even notice. And then when she pulls out the wallet, you got to piece together that, wow, she actually stole it, because she's a master thief. And then at the end of the episode, when she stole Tortrick's lighter, it was just like, holy shit, this girl actually is a crazy thief. It's awesome. And we also get hints that Mercury's weapon of choice, he is a kickboxer, so he uses his feet for his primary usage of weapons, and he's got gun boots when they go up against that Faunus in the bookstore. Now that's where the things turn dark, because we find out that them two actually ended up killing that Faunus. They had some type of Faunus business with the White Fang, with Torchwick, with Cinderfall. So that's something that I definitely was like, wow, things are getting dark already. Things are getting a lot more serious. The tone, went from dark to serious to dark towards the end with Torchwick and Cinder and all that stuff. But these two characters specifically, I'm wondering how they're going to be influential as the series goes on, because they are going to be lackeys of Cinderfall and, underlings of Torchwick apparently. But I definitely like these two already. I like Emerald a lot more than Mercury. I like her. The voice actors were great, so that's out of the way right there. Let me know what you guys thought about these two characters or anything else of the series as a whole. Also, I don't know if the Third Crusade book that they were looking for had any relevance or if that was just a plot device that they used to corner that Faunus. Speculations are such. It seemed like that book was very important since that guy didn't have it and his bookstore was like every book under the sun. So that's how the anime actually starts off, and it's very great that we got to see these two characters because at the very end of Volume 1, I was like, hey, who are these two? What are their weapons of choice? What are their semblances? All that stuff. So these two are already getting some very great development in this first episode. Moving on from there, Team RWBY reunited. I was so happy the second I saw Team RWBY in their school getup in the cafeteria, and I felt at home. Is the best way I can put it. My emotions, I just felt at home with this anime. When I first started watching this, it was just something that I knew was very special to me. And I'm very glad that Monty and Rooster Teeth are working on this because, I collect the merchandise and everything. And it's just something that I support wholeheartedly. And I have very great faith that it will turn into something great. And it's still in its infancy. And we have so much more development. But anyways, Team RWBY. RWBY being quirky and being childish as she is with her little book of best day ever activities, Yang cracking her jokes up. I always start my semester off with a Yang, and I was just like, oh my god, that's so freaking cheesy. And then RWBY was like, I am not a crook, pulling that Richard Nixon thing. It was just so funny, and there were so many references this episode, so many references. The comedy was there, and like everything leading up to the food fight, which I will get to that food fight. Everything leading up to it was so freaking funny, so freaking amazing, so awesome. And we also get to see Sun. Sun apparently is one of the students coming in for the Vital Tournament. And I guess he's one of the foreign exchange students because RWBY mentioned that foreign exchange students are going to be coming in. So that's something that we can look forward to, new characters. But anyways, it seems that Sun has a thing for Blake after their battle in Volume 1. And I can see them two being an item because they're both Faunus. They both get along with each other. They had a somewhat development, somewhat interaction in Volume 1. But another thing that I got to mention is that Blake is thinking about Adam, which means that her trailer that portrayed her, the trailer before the series started, the trailer had to have been a flash, something that happened in the past because she had a drawing of Adam in her notebook. So I'm wondering if Adam's going to be relevant, if he's going to come out on the scene this season, this volume. So that's something, and I'm really looking forward to the development between Sun because it seems like he really does like her. We also got hints of his teammates. So the boy that he was with, his name is Neptune, and he also mentioned Scarlet, which I believe it was teased a while back of Sun's team, and there's a female on there, and her name, I guess, is Scarlet from what we got. So looking forward to that as well. But that food fight. Monty is the most creative dude I have ever experienced making anime and make it so vivid and so over the top and so creative and so dynamic and hype worthy and over the top. Like, you would think that his creativity to make gun variants of weapons like the scythe, the shotgun gauntlets, the nunchucks, and all that, you thought that was crazy. He actually took variant of food in a food fight and applied it to these characters. Yang had turkey gauntlets, alright? Freaking bodying these freaking... Oh my goodness. It was so freaking funny. She had turkey gauntlets. I love the creativity of Monty trying to portray the food versions of their weapons. Like, it was very creative that he gave Weiss a swordfish because that's the closest thing to a rapier. We got Blake using, the baguettes, and then later on using the sausage links as a form of Gamble's Shroud. And then we also got a Juniper sighting. Freaking, oh my goodness, freaking Nora at the top. She's like, I'm queen of the castle, I'm queen of the castle. And then it's Team RWBY versus Team Juniper in a over-the-top food fight. And this is probably the best. I've never experienced a food fight in my life. I've never been a part of one. I've never witnessed one. But this was an epic food fight, probably the best food fight in existence, as the title proclaims it to be. And it was just so awesome. You got to see Nora using a watermelon, like I said, the variants, a watermelon sledgehammer. You got Pyrrha using the baguettes as a form of, her javelin slash shotgun slash shield and sword. And poor Jean. Like, I felt so bad for Jean because he was knocked out the entire fight. He threw the watermelon at the beginning, got slammed in the windows at the very beginning, actually. So I felt very disappointed because I was like, I wonder if he's developed any type of skill in combat since Volume 1, because that's something that I really enjoy Jean for, his development as a character. But it was crazy. And then we got Semblances, okay? We got hints of Semblances in Volume 1 with RWBY with speed and Pyrrha with polarities, but I feel like they've been training, because Pyrrha's semblance of taking all of those soda cans, and RWBY just blitzing and just finishing off the team as a whole. Greatness. Over the top greatness. And then, like I said, going back a little bit into comedy, the references. They had the Phoenix Wright reference of RWBY. She was like, "You guys will pay justice. It will be delicious." And I like the little the soda machines that they had. One of them was like People Like Grapes soda, and then another one was like a version of like Dr. Pepper. It was called Dr. Piper. I just thought those were pretty cool, pretty funny. But oh my gosh, like that battle. I think I rewinded that battle like 6 or 7 times just because it was so hype. It was just so creative, and it's just like, this is what I have to expect. A food fight battle that was on this epic scale. I can only imagine how it's going to be when they're actually using their weapons, going against creatures of Grimm, the Vital tournament at the end of the year. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? But overall, things are getting a little bit dark, because Ozpin makes it clear that these kids aren't going to be kids forever. They're the defenders of the world. They're having their moments as children because they won't be kids their whole life. They will eventually have to stand up and deal with people like Torchwick, like Cinderfall, and the creatures of Grimm to defend the world. And it's very short-lived in this episode, I feel, because I feel like after this episode, things are going to get very serious with school coming back into, you know, the school coming back into the equation, and, you know, them finding out, you know, what's all this dust, where's all this dust going, what's Roman up to. And we get back to the White Fang, all right, and Roman, oh my, Roman is so elegant, Roman is so sophisticated, cunning. He's like, I'm a sweetheart, all right, you gotta keep up with me. And I just love his character. But it's like Cinder is running the show. Cinder, voiced by Jessica Negri, she is so beautiful, so gorgeous, and her voice is very angelic as well. She fits the part of Cinderfall very well. And as a whole, Cinder is very serious. She's very sinister. We saw the damage that she did in Volume 1, Episode 1 against RWBY and against Glinda Goodwitch. And they're moving on with their plans. We don't know what their plans are, and that's one of the questions of why do they need this much dust? And they're moving on to Phase 2 of relocating. So it's like, okay, you got your shipment. You got all your dust, so much dust you don't know what to do with it. What is your objective? And I'm just gonna put a little tiny of the spoiler, because it was hinted out in the past sneak trailers that they are going to be using mechs. Maybe the mechs are going to be dust infused. They're going to be dust powered. I don't know, but it's like things are getting crazy. Things are getting nuts. Things are getting real, and there's a lot of questions. I'm still looking forward to more characters to be introduced, like Velvet Scarlatina, her team, Penny, where is she at? Is she coming back? All that stuff in between. Man, this episode was on a completely different level. It really was, and I felt at home. That's the greatest way I can put my emotions. I love everything that this anime is. It's still in its infancy, and it's something that I hold very near and dear to me. For everything that it gives me, the comedy, the action, the suspense, the drama, the lovable characters more than anything, the characters that I already care so much about. I really like Emerald from this first episode. I don't know anything about her history, her past, just the aura and just the light that she gives off. Even though she's a bad guy, it's something that I really cherish and I really appreciate and I really enjoy. But man, let me know your thoughts, please. Anybody out there, let me know your thoughts on this episode 1, everything that it pertained to. It was on another level. It really was, and I'm so glad that the volume is back. Volume 2, Episode 2, RWBY Thursdays. We are back. We are in there, and I can't wait. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. That's all I got for this review. That's my impressions. That's my take on it. I'm really looking forward to things that are going to be moving on with the White Fang. I'm really looking forward to more development with Team RWBY, Team Juniper, Sun, and everybody else of this anime. But that's all I've got for this review. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you're into RWBY or anything else pertaining to it. I'm going to be reviewing the series as a whole. But that's all I've got, and I will catch you guys next RWBY Thursday. Take care.